Welcome to So What's Next with Tonia. I am so excited about this time of life that I'm now entering, which many of you are entering as well. That next chapter of your life, whether it is like me, some people call it an empty nester, some people are entering first time having a baby, married, divorced. There's probably many different chapters of life that we're going to cover here. But today I wanted to introduce to you a little bit more about myself, but a lot about what the purpose of this podcast is and what the goal is. I do have a goal for this, and the goal is to build a community. I would love to be able to see a community of men and women bonding together, supporting one another, and recognizing that there's so much more to this life. And, sometimes life is hard, but we can get through it. So let me start by telling my story a little bit. I am a mother of 7 children. I had 5 girls and 2 boys, and they were all came very close and fast. I had 7 children in 8 years. I know many of you are going to be going, "Hey, do you know what caused that?" And I'm just going to sit back and say, "Nope, didn't figure it out." Yeah, I knew. I knew what caused it, but I sure didn't want to get rid of one of them. I am so grateful for all my children and the life that I have learned and lived with them. Before that, I came from a little village town in Canada called Vanderhoof. It was a tiny little town, um, but it was so diverse and it was so wonderful for growing up. I couldn't ask for better. We had great friends growing up, um, and still to this day, I consider them great friends. We, my parents, my mother was originally from the U.S. She was born in the U.S. and then her family moved up to British Columbia, Canada, where I was raised, and she met my dad. There were 5 children in my family, and my parents worked very hard, and they're good, honest people, and they taught us to be equally the same. We had a lot of neat experiences living there. And it's been funny as I've moved around the world. I now currently live in the US and I live in Idaho. And that has been a great transition. I've really enjoyed living here. It's been a little hard. I miss the trees a lot, miss the mountains, but there's a lot of beauty and a lot of things I wouldn't trade for the world, especially in raising my kids. It was a great place to raise my family. They have magnificent friends. Being able to go outdoors, being able to go in the mountains and go hunting or just play. Our kids were raised on a farm. We had 20 acres here, and we have cows and horses and dogs. There was some times that I had more dogs here than I had children, and many times. But now the kids are all gone, and there isn't that story. There's only a couple of dogs here now. But let me go a little further. So, as you know, all of us, we grow up, we have families, we find ourselves being an entrepreneur. I owned businesses and I have traveled all over the world. I love the world. I love the diversity. Let's get that right. But I love what's the word I want to say? The opportunity to meet so many different people and to help me grow and stretch in accepting other people and figuring things out about myself. I don't know if any of you have ever had that opportunity or where you're going, I need to figure things out. Well, that's what's happened at this change in my life. My youngest, Haley, I never asked if I could tell about them. Maybe I better. Too late. Here we go. But anyway, my youngest, Haley, got married last October. And last October, when she got married, I was really excited. Tell you the truth, I was terrified and I started to go into a depression. And I thought, there's no way this is going to happen. 2 months before Haley's wedding, we had our 7th grandbaby be stillborn. And watching my son and his dear wife go through that probably put me into a depression. And I didn't slow down, I didn't stop, I wasn't going to allow myself to sink. However, I noticed emotionally I was sinking. So we had to get through the wedding. Thank goodness for the wedding, because it gave our whole family something to bond over and to start working towards. And whether it was doing the decorations, creating this perfect wedding for Haley, as we wanted it to be so beautiful for her and her husband. And that was magnificent. However, during that time, I realized this was our last child out of the house, and the house was going to be silent. And how was I going to adapt to that quietness? Or now, please understand, our home was always moving. It was like a beehive, people coming and going at rapid rates all the time. And so I'm not complaining, but it truly, truly was something that I needed to figure out. And Haley's wedding came, and so I started telling myself, on the 26th of October is going to be your graduation day. And I thought, my graduation day? What does that really mean? And what it meant, and this is what I tell my kids, and I later found out that some of my kids didn't like that I used that term at all. They actually said, Mom, you don't like being a mother? And I've loved being a mother. That's the greatest things I've ever done, is be a mom. But I meant I no longer was in motherhood. And that motherhood meant parenting, taking care of my kids, being responsible for their actions, doing all those things. I didn't have to do that anymore. That was not my responsibility from here on out. And I was super excited about it, because for the first time, I got to look in the mirror and I got to figure out myself. So the 26th comes and I'm so excited. And I'm like, yes, this is my graduation day. This is going to be the best day of my life, because I was married at the age of 19. I really hadn't spent a lot of time getting to know really who I am without children or anything of that factor, because you know what? We become what we need to be. And so at that time, I needed to become a mom, and putting my children first. Don't regret that. Best thing I've done. Putting my husband first. Don't mind that. Was best things I've done. I've learned a lot from all of it. However, now was my turn. Now was the time I got to look at myself and go, okay, Tonia, what do you like? And do you know, I had no clue what I liked. Matter of fact, I was laughing with somebody and they said, do you like gardening? And I have done a garden for 32 years. I've been married for 32 years. And I thought, I don't know. I don't know. I love being outside. I love the fresh vegetables. I hate weeding. I hate it. I think it's awful. I love planting flowers. I hate weeding. It's awful. Okay, so now you know I don't like weeding. Not even a little bit. I love the way it looks after I'm done. I just hate doing it. So I thought, okay, we are going to do a garden, Tonia. We're going to figure out, do you really like a garden? And do you know what I found out? Didn't do it. I just didn't do it. I like pretty things. And I was laughing and I told my husband, I said, you know what? Let's kill all the garden. Let's kill it all. And then we'll come back and I want to build a pretty garden. And he's like, okay, you want that? I'll do that. He went out, great sport, killed the garden. I never planted anything. I didn't do it. I didn't plant a garden. I spent my time enjoying my girlfriends this past summer and my kids and working, which I really do love to do. So I'm like, maybe next year I'll find out if I really like a garden or not, because right now I don't know if I like a garden, but I know I like pretty things. So I will probably do up a garden, but it won't be one I have to weed a lot. So, you know, you people that do the raised bed gardens, please send me messages. Tell me how you've done it. I want a pretty garden. I don't want to have a lot of weeds. I don't want to do it. I want paper down. I want it pretty. Anyway, so that was the time and what I decided to do on that. And so I went, all right, I don't know if I like a garden. I'm still uncertain about that, but I need to figure out what else I like or what I don't like. Well, as I started to go through my home and my life, I decided there were things about myself I didn't like. And anybody who knows me knows that I have spent the last probably 28 years in self development, building myself, coaching. I have many, many clients, which I am so grateful for. They have taught me more than I could ever ask for, and I want to say thank you. These clients have opened my eyes to heartbreak, whether it was through divorce, abuse, um, suicide, losing their spouse, losing their children. I have magnificent clients and some that are just like me, just finding our way. This life is a gift, and we often get stuck in this, what does the world expect from me? What do people want from me? Rather than, who was I before I was told what to be? Last year, I want to say it was about August of 2024. I'm sorry. It might have been earlier than that. But right in that timeline, I was given this thought. And the thought was, what would you like to be? Or, sorry, who were you before you were told what you wanted to be? And I really had to think about that. And I didn't quite understand what the message was. And then I started thinking of my childhood. Where I was raised was really beautiful. I mean, we would walk through the woods and you would see the little lady slippers, and we would have this little wooded area from our house. There was a wooded area and into an opening where there were wild strawberries. They were so good. And I spent so much of my time walking through those woods, picking up the lady slippers, or to a point where I never picked them anymore, and I just watched them. I loved them. I was certain that there were fairies in that forest. And then I would go out to the strawberry patches, and I would sit down and I would eat my strawberry patches. And I remember having, I think it was like maybe cottage cheese containers that we would take out there, and we'd pick our little bundle and take it home and put sugar and cream on them, and they were so good. But as I was thinking of this, certain other things started to come up. And it was, as a child, I was abused, sexually molested by my uncle. And I realized right then and there that there is a gift in it. And for anybody who was, you get to face that part of ourselves. That part of ourselves is so important that we heal it. And so again, what did this opportunity of so what's next in my life allowed me? It allowed me time to heal. It allowed me time to be honest with myself. It allowed me time to be able to speak my truths. And so, as you can see, as you can see, there are so many magnificent things that I am excited to share with you guys. I'm excited to share with you some experiences that I've had and other experiences that I know other people have had that I would like to be able to visit with you guys about it. It has been a neat journey. This life is not easy, but it is worth living. We can support one another. We can have hope and encouragement. And you know what? Life isn't so hard that it's not worth going on. We can do this, but we need a good, strong community. We need to have and I'm saying not just a strong community outside of ourselves. I'm talking within ourselves. We need to have that strong community right within us because you know what? We're worth it. So I'm going to encourage each one of you to really join me in this journey. Join me I'm having to make sure it's not zooming in and out as I'm the only one doing the recording today, but really encourage you to stay true to who you are and silence the world enough that you can find yourself. This is not an opportunity for me to become depressed or saddened because no children are at home and all my children are gone. That's good. I raised them for that. I wanted them to be independent and strong and live a beautiful life, just as I'm sure as your parents wanted for you and as they're going to want for their children. But one thing I do want to say is now's our time. Now is our time to view the world for as it came to us, as a lesson of learning and growth, and a way that we can empower others and ourselves. But if you would like, I would like you to reflect on yourself and just think about this. Who were you before you were told what to be? Now, situations and life challenges, they do challenge us and they do, we think, form us. In many ways, they do. But guess what? You choose what stays and you choose what you want to put forth. I'm excited to spend this time with you, and I look forward to many, many more podcasts with you, and hopefully some of you even joining me. So you guys, I hope that you have a blessed day. And if there's one piece of a gold nugget that I could give you today, and you know what that gold nugget would be? That gold nugget would be love yourself. The minute you feel one negative thought or feeling, I'm going to encourage you to do this. And that is choose love instead. Replace that emotion of negativity with something positive. Not a positive thought, just choose love. You don't have to reconvince yourself that you're somebody or something different. Be who you are, but just change the emotion that you're allowing in within you and change that for love. So I look forward to being with you guys many, many more times. And thank you. And by the way, you guys, thank you for spending your time with me. And that is on So What's Next with Tonia.